Hey everyone, Dan from the Nostalgia Test Podcast, and I just want to welcome you to part 2 of a 3-part epic wrestling episode. It's going to get crazier. Get with it. If you missed last week's episode, go back, listen to part 1, and get ready for part 3 coming next week for all your candy asses. Welcome to the Nostalgia Test Podcast, the show where two longtime friends put their mainstream pop culture past to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test.
All right, so next one. I think we kind of did this pretty quick. Best assistant or hype person? Jimmy the South, Miss Sherry, Paul Heyman, or Paul Bearer?
Okay, Jimmy the South.
Jimmy the South, man.
I mean, Jesus Christ, Jimmy.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
He was awesome. He could
probably
do a promo now.
Like, this fucking guy knows what he's doing. I watched one this week, and I was like, yeah, like still
he's
him.
really good.
Like,
yeah,
it's not era-esque. It's just he's just a loudmouth motherfucker. you know,
he's so good. He was so good with Legion of Doom and Nasty Boy. He was everywhere,
dude. He was Nasty Boy. Nasty Boy.
Nasty
Boys.
Those guys were fucking weird, man.
They were trash. Yeah. Dude, those guys had no muscles. I'm like,
no. Bunch of fat guys, yeah.
That's then like.
But the Bushwhackers, you remember when the Bushwhackers started getting muscular? At one point, I'm like, they are pumping these guys with steroids.
Oh yeah, because they had to stay. They had to stay up to like what the Attitude Era guys were looking at. Like, you know.
Speaking of tag teams, do you remember the Natural Disasters?
Yeah.
Yes. Hurricane and
talking
tornado.
About fat guys.
No,
yeah.
Earthquake
and Hurricane. Yeah.
Those are literally.
Remember Vader? It's Vader time.
Fat guys.
It's Vader time. Yeah.
Well,
Bam Bigelow with head fire tattoos.
Now, Bam Bigelow, though, I think he's an underrated wrestler. I thought he was great.
He's crazy. He had head tattoos in the 80s, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Dude, no one gave a shit. It was like Crush. Remember Crush?
Oh, Crush, yeah.
Oh my God.
And didn't Demolition have a third member that was there? Sometimes is that Crush?
It might have been. Because I was trying to find a video of Barber, the bruised beefcake, getting like thrown through a mirror, and then he had to wear a mask.
Gets kicked by not when he get fucking Sweet Chin Music from Shawn Michaels. Was that when he?
Did Shawn Michaels do that too?
What? Yeah,
Shawn Michaels. Do you remember?
I think he definitely kicked Marty Jannetty. He may have kicked Brutus the Barber Beefcake too.
Do you remember when Shawn Michaels just started kicking people in the hallway after Triple H said they don't think we're controversial, and he just like, "You, what's your name?" Okay, and then he kicked him in the face, like,
dude,
like
it's
3
so
or 4
great.
people.
Dude,
he
also like shut down. He wrestled Ric Flair for like Ric Flair's like last match.
Yeah,
and he said, "I love you" at the end. Like he was like, "I love you."
Kicked him in the face. Did you watch the Shawn Michaels A&E documentary? That was really good.
No,
Billy's all about these A&E documentaries. I gotta check
one
them
of
out.
them, bro. The only one I haven't watched is there's a Booker T and someone else I haven't watched yet. But yeah, because it's
Booker T. But Booker T.
He was awesome.
Like, he was WCW, really.
But then he did come into the WWF because one of the videos I found this week was Stone Cold beat the shit out of Booker T in a grocery store. Do you remember that?
No, I gotta check that one out, dude.
I was like, "What is
That's
this?"
Crazy.
And it's like Booker T's in a grocery store and Stone Cold's like squirting mustard on him and then punching him in the fucking face.
What is
going on? I'm like, what is this?
Wow. Oh my God.
Definitely watch it.
So,
oh my God.
All right, so we're going with Jimmy the South. Miss Sherry doesn't pass.
Done.
Paul Heyman doesn't pass.
No.
Paul Heyman's annoying. I freaking hate him.
Yeah.
All right. Top 3 ridiculous characters. This is what we have on the list. There might be some ones that we think about out of the Repo Man, Papa Shango, IRS, Bushwhackers, 1-2-3 Kid, X-Pac, Jake the Snake, the Mountie, and Bob Backlund.
Dude,
Bob Backlund has to be the top worst one because he wasn't a character.
But he was deadly. And there was a point where he was winning all these matches.
I know.
When I was a kid, I was like, someone kill this guy.
Yeah. I thought the Brooklyn Brawler was the best guy because like he was a jobber and like
They just beat the shit out of
They
him.
used to just beat him up. They should have like one time made him like win the championship by luck.
Dude.
I would have rather him beat Razor Ramon than the 1-2-3 Kid. Like, because the 1-2-3 Kid, then they had to watch the 1-2-3 Kid on like a pay-per-view fight Razor Ramon. And I'm like, come on now. Come on.
This is ridiculous.
Like,
Yeah, I don't even know who to pick. I feel like the Repo Man was like 5 different characters. Like they couldn't just figure out his character. Repo Man was crazy. Like he would actually steal cars. Like he would repo cars. Like he was so like. Remember Virgil? Like he was like he was basically Ted DiBiase's like slave, which was like so terrible. Like,
dude, that was really bad when you look in retrospect.
I know.
The $1 Million Man with his slave virgin.
Yeah,
what?
dude,
that's
it was
what it
crazy.
was. It was so racist.
It was so bad. It was so
and no
bad.
one
Really
liked
bad.
Virgil. If you watch the Royal
But Virgil
Rumble
was
in
a great
1992
wrestler.
Well, if you watch the 1992 Royal Rumble, he comes in, no one's really clapping. And then he gets eliminated, and one of the announcers goes, I think Virgil just got eliminated. No one is paying
No
attention.
one cared.
It's really bad.
No one cared.
Oh, man.
That was So I don't really know. These are all like shit characters. I would say the worst one, maybe Papa Shango was pretty bad too. But it was they had some really good like storylines with like Ultimate Warrior and Undertaker with Papa Shango.
Do you remember Kamala?
Kamala.
Yeah, he was.
No.
It was another racist character. It was a black wrestler who came out face painted, and he would like smack his stomach.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
You don't remember
I do.
that?
I do.
Oh,
Oh,
my
man, it was
God.
bad. I think Doink was a ridiculous character.
Gold
Gold was, I mean,
Tornado.
IRS is pretty terrible though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
his name is Erwin R. Shyster.
That's got to be
Yeah.
anti-Semitic, right?
Like,
It was like so bad.
So
Yeah.
this is what I want to make.
I think they all are pretty bad.
everyone
he
out
was
there.
a tag team with $1 Million Man too.
That's
I
right.
forgot about that. I was
Yeah.
reading this article.
Of course he was.
Yeah, I just want to say this. Everyone out there who's
And
like,
the
oh,
$1 Million
golden
made his
era.
own belt.
Yeah. The golden era was a great era. The golden era was a horrifying racist era.
Okay,
yeah.
first of all, it was definitely that, but the magazine that had all this in the magazine, which was crazy
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I'm
It's
thinking
not
about
golden
it.
at all.
It's not. I mean, I don't know why they call it like the golden generation of it, because like I would say the golden generation of it is the Attitude Era. Like it propelled what the WWE is today.
Yeah.
And the WWE is not that great right now. And
No,
like
even watch
like
it.
I didn't even watch the PG era with John Cena, and I had people like liked it. I went one time because my niece was into it because of the show with the girls wrestling, because they like really promoted more girls wrestling, and like she got over that really quickly. But like I was there and I was like, oh man, like when you go to a live match, it's not that great, because like you have to watch like, especially if it's not like a Raw or something, you have to watch like matches that don't matter, that don't get aired.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah.
okay.
And now you're just
You're
watching
watching,
like Axe body spray people. just,
And like
beat each other
they're
up.
like screaming at each other without like the mic, and you don't have the announcers to like make you laugh. So you're
Yep,
just like,
exactly.
like it reminds me of like, and you know, people are gonna hate me for saying this if you're still listening. Like going to a basketball game. Like I went to an NBA game, and I was like, this is boring. Like all you hear is like squeaking
It was
of like
probably
rubber
also the
feet.
Knicks game, so they probably got their ass kicked.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was a Nets game, and it was just terrible. And the only reason why I had a really good time is like we had like 6 seats, and like I was just like, oh, this is kind of really boring. Like I was just not. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm watching like a high school game. Like, and all you hear is
my
like,
God.
it was just, I was not excited.
People are gonna come for us.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anti-pro
It's
vote
fine.
for the Nets.
Because I can tell you this: NBA, if we put NBA to the test, it does not pass the nostalgia test.
No, certainly not, man.
Okay.
Nope.
So
It's a 90s thing. It's
Yeah.
gone. Done.
basketball's
Long
lost
live
its
Charles
pride.
Oakley.
Come on, bring on soccer. Let's go.
I think you know how I feel about soccer, man. I think I'd rather watch soccer than the NBA.
Wow,
I'm
that's
on
a hot
board with
take.
you, Billy.
That is a hot take.
I don't understand
I watch
soccer
college
still.
basketball. I can watch college basketball, but NBA, pass. Hard
Can't.
pass.
So boring. All right.
It's a nostalgia test tangent. People, IRS is the worst character, I think. I'm putting my
IRS.
I agree with you. I'm with you
First,
too, man,
I hate
'cause it's
taxes.
ridiculous.
And
You don't think Doink? You didn't think Doink was that much
No,
of a?
he's
Well, that's
kinda
just
cool.
stupid. The IRS is also like stupid, like ridiculous stupid. Like someone could be like, "Hey, a clown could wrestle," but
You
like
look
who's like, "Hey, let's have someone that's a tax man be the wrestler." Like it's just a dumb idea in general. It's a fucking bad idea.
He looked like Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
And when you think about it, anything about taxes you shouldn't do. So the Beatles should never have had that song "Tax Man." That was a bad idea too. Doesn't pass the nostalgia test.
I was
All right,
reading
here
an
we-
article where it said it made a generation of youth hate the IRS.
All right, so here we go. Top 3 heels. This is what's on the list. We have 10 to pick. All right.
Oof! Wow.
I'm going to start from 10 to what's listed as number 1, but obviously he doesn't have to be number 1.
This is
Sid,
a hard-
and this is also those who turned heel, and that this is the top 3 heels. They could have been good guys at one point, but whatever. Sid Vicious, Ric Flair, the Iron Sheik, Sergeant Slaughter, Vince McMahon, Mr. Perfect, Kane, Triple H, The Rock, Shawn Michaels.
So for me, I just go to the guys that were heels their whole career. Like, get rid of the turns. That's my opinion. Like, obviously, it's all subjective, but I cross out the guys that went back and forth.
Yeah.
Really?
And I look at, and I go, all right, like, who was the most consistent heel that you still wanted to see fight, that you weren't just like, fuck this guy, you know?
Who's that?
Oh, I'm not giving the answer yet.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
Like
I'm still
I would
thinking.
say,
I'm still thinking.
yeah. It's funny
It's
because
hard.
like
It's hard.
yeah, it is because like you kind of brought it up before, Billy. Like the Attitude Era, you weren't sure who was the heel because like even the good guys
Very
were
true.
heels. So that's like
Exactly.
there's so that kind of knocks down like let's say 3 of these guys, maybe 4. You Shawn Michaels kind of take out because
Agreed.
I mean he mostly sat as a heel, but we cheered for him even after he kicked Marty Jannetty, even after he destroyed Bret Hart, and he was in DX. Like you still kind of felt
He wasn't a
you
spit
still
on the crowd heel. Like,
yeah, like
you know?
he was a heel, but like he was kind of like an anti-hero. Like people
Yeah.
still liked him. I wouldn't
Agreed.
consider him a heel for some reason. Right?
No,
Maybe
I
a
agree-
bad
I agree
guy.
with you on that.
Yeah. The
agree
Rock,
with you.
you got to take The Rock out because he was part of the Attitude Era and he went back and forth, but he was a fantastic heel. He was a better
Yeah,
heel.
he did a great job of it when he was.
Yeah.
I think he was a better heel than Stone Cold.
I agree.
Yeah,
That's
because
why
Stone Cold
Stone
didn't
Cold's
really
not
do
even
much
in.
changing.
No.
Still Cold,
No.
yeah, he like maybe worked with Vince McMahon now instead of
The only
beating
reason
shit out of him.
the only reason why he turned heel, it's not him turning heel, is that the bad people started liking him. So
Yeah.
it's not like he needed to do something to turn the heel. Like just because he used the chair on The Rock didn't make him a heel. It was a disqualification match. Like it was a no disqualification match. Like that didn't matter.
That was like his turn though, right? Because he took the
Yeah.
chair from Vince,
And he
put
beat
him and
the
Vince at
shit
work.
out
he
of him
beat
with that
he beat
chair.
him. They were both
Yeah.
like bloody as hell during that match.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Triple H to me more of a heel than a good guy, but he also turned
Okay.
good for a little bit. Maybe no, he didn't. I guess again, got to take him out. He was
I think the only time he wasn't a heel was when he was actually Hunter Hearst Helmsley, like in the beginning of his career,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
when
He
when
was
The Rock
terrible
was
as-
Rocky Maivia, like
Yeah.
when they were that
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
Like, and
So,
once,
I mean,
once he
so
went
maybe-
after that, he was pretty much heel the whole time.
okay.
right? He was
So yeah, until he went corporate, but like
yeah.
he's
He's
still
still
now a
kind of a heel,
heel. Yeah. So okay,
Now
so
he
we
actually
keep we
switches
so we
spots.
keep we keep Triple H there. Do we keep Kane there? Yeah, because Kane. Yeah. Mr. Perfect, always a
See,
heel.
Oh,
Always a heel.
yeah.
Mr.
Always a
Perfect,
heel.
Such an
always
asshole.
a heel.
Such an
Vince
asshole.
McMahon, but he's like a heel because he's the boss, right? Like there was never going to be a thing that you were going to like the boss.
like a
This was a hard
convoluted
list
heel.
to make, though.
Yeah.
Like because
Yeah,
it
it
was.
like
It was Sergeant Slaughter, the Iraq version. Okay, but like I never
I
even
threw
liked
that
them.
in, but I threw
I
that
didn't
in.
even
It was-
I never even liked them normally. The Iron
most
Sheik,
people didn't.
the Iron Sheik is a phenomenal heel. Have you heard
Yeah, he is.
interviews with him?
He's still good on Instagram now where he says crazy shit.
Oh my god,
oh my god.
he used to call Howard Stern. Oh my god, the interviews that he had with Howard Stern was insane. You're like, oh, this guy's he's crazy. He's
Yeah,
legit
out of
crazy.
his
I'd say he's definitely a top candidate.
Yes. Ric Flair, I think he stayed heel most of his time,
I
right?
would say
Even
Ric
though-
Flair stays
I would agree.
heel.
Yeah.
He was an
And-
asshole his whole career.
And then Sid Vicious, he was just a psychopath.
What about like, you know what? I just always remember this, and it's like a mid-level heel, but it always remembers. You remember Ravishing Rick Rude?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the model Rick Martel was always a heel. I mean, but
Yeah.
he was
True.
like a big enough character.
Ravishing
Yeah.
Rick Rude had his own face on his pants, and he would like gyrate when he came to the ring.
Ravishing Rick Rude. Yeah,
not,
I don't.
Not an all-time heel, but still a piece of shit from the 80s.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like this list is tight. This list is tough, but I would probably say that Mr. Perfect is the best heel.
That's what I'm going with.
I would agree with you as well. Yeah,
Because he
stayed
was
heel.
so arrogant and just like the smile he had, like
Yeah.
and him with Ric Flair during the Royal Rumble, because he was like Ric Flair's like protege.
The perfect plex, great
Yeah.
move, and he was a great wrestler, so he could
Dude,
have
and
good matches.
That was also when the Intercontinental Belt was like an awesome
When mattered.
when it mattered.
They don't even. I don't even think they have it anymore because they switched to a world. Like I bought my son got into recently, just watching. So they have like Universal Championship, North American Championship, like some other. There's no like they totally changed it up.
There's like Raw champion and like the SmackDown
It was
champion.
Raw and SmackDown. They have two separate champions.
Yeah.
Intercontinental was the nicest looking belt.
Oh yeah,
It was the coolest
I like.
looking
it was the best belt.
I like the ugly '80s one with the yellow strap.
Oh my God! When Warrior had that belt.
Yeah, the yellow strap. Yeah, that shit was fucking.
So
dope.
I would say Mr. Perfect is the best
I agree.
heel.
The best heel, and I think passes the nostalgia test because I would
Definitely.
watch all his matches.
He used to spit the gum out and smack it.
Oh my God, so great! He's spitting on
great.
the audience, but he's also a great wrestler. He was so good.
Oh, he was such a good wrestler.
I agree. He's definitely the winner here.
Yeah. You like craft beer, and you live on Long Island, and you want something local. Stop by Mythology Brewing in Farmingdale, 211A Main Street. That's LITHOLOGY. Mythology Brewing. All right, so we're going to. Do you want to go to matches? Or say that to the end, Dan.
I think we saved that to the end.
All right, so we're going events. Best events, like
any of them. I mean, the list
I guess,
is there, but
but I'm saying like best events, like all the time, not like. Do you remember a best event?
One.
No, we're talking about
like
just
the event,
best
like
events:
the big
WrestleMania,
events.
King of the Ring, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. So Dan has like the top four, right? The big four.
There could be other ones.
Like growing up, that's what these were the four that you asked your parents to pay pay-per-view.
And then
with.
until they added SummerSlam, and then that came
SummerSlam.
on.
Then there's
I
that-
think the
SummerSlam.
first one was like 91. So
Yeah.
SummerSlam, I kind of like think it like all of a sudden overshadowed Survivor Series. 'Cause Survivor Series was cool because you
Survivor
were like,
Series is like March every year, right?
no, it
I
was,
thought it was in November. It was
Thanksgiving.
like a Thanksgiving thing.
Oh shit, you're right. I'm
Survivor-
confusing that
Yeah.
with something else.
yeah. Survivor Series was the was awesome at one point. Like you really wanted to like there was the heels and the good guys, and then it kind of got lost in the Attitude Era because of the fact that everything was like
Crazy.
single. Everybody was like by themselves.
Yeah.
Like
Except for
the
DX.
Survivor Series to me was great because like DX was perfect for the Survivor Series, but it was like when tag teams. Like good tag teams would go with other good tag teams, and then they would face the heels and stuff. Because I still remember like Bret Hart being in there, like Hart Foundation and stuff. So like, I think like that was a good event. But like one of my favorites in all time is King of the Ring. I always remember King of the Rings, and I thought King of the Ring was great. That was how Stone Cold like became Stone Cold. He won King of the Ring.
I love the Royal Rumble just because like you have all these matches and then you have this fucking gigantic match.
Yeah.
And so like you get some really great matches and then you have this big fucking thing that happens.
After some of them already wrestled.
Exactly. Yeah. And they were great. And I just would I'm still like, I mean, we haven't even talked about the matches, but like the 1992 Royal Rumble with Ric Flair is quite possibly one of the best. I mean, it was amazing. It's an amazing.
It was good.
Royal
It was
Rumble.
a good one. It was a good one. I can't remember many Royal Rumbles. But like I would say that that was another good event. And then, of course, WrestleMania. But that was because, like, they built it up. That's the main event, right?
It's their main event.
See, to me, WrestleMania is number one just because of what you said, Manny. And like you said, I don't remember any Royal Rumbles. Well, I agree. It's a very interesting concept. I don't remember many Royal Rumbles, but I can tell you, like, what match was at what WrestleMania because it's like the premier event, you know? And it's like every match that's headlining it from an era that we've watched, like, if you mention the name of it, you'd be like, yo, I fucking remember that. 100% guarantee you, you know?
Yeah, and like, I mean, the only thing you brought up SummerSlam, and I remember like when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man came back together, and like they
was
did
that
like
the
a
match
whole
made
thing.
in heaven and match made in hell, where like Macho Man married Miss Elizabeth, and then him and Macho Man fought someone or something. Or was that the Iraq one? Maybe
I don't remember which one it was, but
yeah, they had the match made in heaven where Miss Elizabeth married. Oh yeah,
so weird, so fucking weird.
Yeah, very weird.
You know, Billy, I think you're right. Like, you're right. The WrestleManias are definitely the most important ones, and it's a shame because Survivor Series was. It's really a great,
cool. It's really cool. Like the I love the different concepts. I think it's more just like in the moment that's really cool, but it just doesn't stick with you as long because there's not like, you know, even like I watched today the second Stone Cold match versus The Rock, and like Stone Cold takes 3 rock bottoms, and like you remember that shit, and like these other, like, I don't want to call them gimmicky because that seems like it's cheapening them, but it's more just like it's fucking awesome in the moment, but it just to me doesn't resonate as much as like these where like you watch it and you're like that one I watched today, like, yeah, this is nostalgic because I remember watching this before, but it's also still fucking kicks ass now because it's a great match, you know?
I mean, like there's the Hell in the Cells, but like that kind of got overrated. I don't know. Like the cage matches were weird because cage matches went from like gate cages to then like, remember the
blue one.
The blue one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Wasn't there you could unlock the gate and get out too? Because it used to have a top on it. And that was like the original one. Like you had to get to the key and open it up. And then they open up the top and you could climb over, get the key.
That's right.
And then I think then it just went on from there to one.
Then it was crazy with Mankind.
There.
Yeah.
No
I mean, it also went from like, it also like wrestling went from like, hey, remember there was a count out to like never. No one ever gets counted out.
Exactly.
It just never again.
So I would say that Survivor Series doesn't pass the test. King of the Ring, I don't know how they run it now, but I still remember that being a cool tournament. Because I remember even Jerry the King Lawler won it one time.
That's right.
Came out of nowhere. I would say Royal Rumble, but I agree with Billy. I think if I didn't have to watch one of them because it was on the list of matches, I don't remember any of them specifically.
Yeah,
you know. So WrestleMania,
I think
definitely
is the
takes
best
it.
one.
Yeah.
To me, WrestleMania is the only one that passes. The other ones, like, I watch it and I'm like, I'm sure I loved this at the time, but I don't care now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just giving me more content, and you're just giving me the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and not care is the wrong way. I was a little too, as I could sometimes speak a little too harshly. It's still entertaining, but it's not like a classic. Like, this is fucking awesome then, and it's fucking awesome now.
Did you get that shirt specifically for today?
No, I had this. I had this shirt.
Oh, nice.
Shit.
So that's Warrior versus Macho Man?
It's funny because it's a WrestleMania 6 shirt, and that was Warrior versus Hogan, but there's no Hogan on the shirt. So I imagine whoever made it didn't have the licensing rights to Hogan.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It probably cost more money. So they put, they got him, they got Roddy Piper versus Big Boss Man, and Macho Man fought someone else. So yeah, it's that's the Cole special.
Oh.
Cool.
But no, I had this for a while.
Nice.
Dude.
All right, so
this is what I'm thinking.
Want to go
I think we go straight to good guys and get that out of the way right now.
On the list of the good guys is Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, Hogan.
Right.
Of good guys. Guys that never turned heel.
I'm gonna go
I would even say Bret tried.
Oh, never turned heel.
Bret tried to go heel. Bret tried.
It was weird.
It was weird
now,
to see
if you
him.
watch the video, he basically said he hated America. That was his way of going heel, I think, right?
Yeah, he was super Canadian. Yeah.
Which, like, I don't consider that going heel. Canada,
I agree.
Gonna hate, like, it doesn't make sense.
And Hogan went heel by basically dyeing his beard and hair black and
Yeah.
joining NWO, which I never watched WCW. So to me, like, I never really saw Hogan as the heel, like outside of clips.
Yeah.
And Hogan went heel once he made a sex tape. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I view that as like a blip in the early 2000s as opposed to the rest of his career.
Ultimate Warrior was always good guy.
Always.
Yep.
Brett and
Yep. I mean, yeah, even him and Hogan's rivalry, he wasn't like a dick, you know?
And Stone Cold,
Yeah.
I guess he was just Stone Cold anyway. So, like, you know, like, could you even call him a good guy?
No, we couldn't even call him a bad guy. Then we had him on a
he's just
heel
Stone
list
Cold.
and we
I
took
think
him
he
up.
kind of has like its own
Yeah.
He's an anti-hero.
Yeah, he's just kind of like there.
I know Bret Hart, quote unquote, went heel.
He didn't
but
go heel.
I'm putting my vote in to Bret Hart. I think Bret
agree.
Hart was quite
100%.
possibly
I
one
love
of
the way he wore
greatest,
his jacket.
good
Your
guys of all
mom, Billy,
time.
used to yell at me how I wore my jacket that way because he like the
Because like you were wearing Bret Hart.
He didn't have shoulders.
Yep, that's fucking hilarious.
Your mom's just like
that's hilarious,
your mom
dude.
used to be like, Manny, that's why they made shoulders. I'm like, that's definitely not why they made shoulders.
That's why they made Bret Hart.
Oh, you're goddamn right. Yeah, I think
had
we're all
those
in agreement
glasses.
here. Bret
Yeah.
Hart
Man,
all the
Bret
way,
Hart was
bro.
great.
Oh, dude, they
Yeah.
were great.
Dude.
You remember the piece that was on your eye was like a tube of rubber. It was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
weird.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess there was no
And
other
then he,
really
like,
good guy
you know,
that like. I mean,
I'm trying
Hacksaw
to
Jim
think,
Duggan.
but
That guy was like,
just an
dude, where'd
alcoholic.
they fucking find this guy? Like,
I feel
they
like
pulled him out of the back of a bar. We're like, here, take this 2x4.
Just
Like,
run in.
what the
Even
fuck?
Coco Beware.
Coco Beware was
God.
never a heel.
Never a heel. Never a heel. He's a good guy. Jim,
Wow.
Superfly Jimmy Snooker.
Was he
he
ever
killed
a
his
heel?
wife.
Oh God.
In real life, he killed
Okay,
his wife.
you dropped
Yeah,
a
Billy
ton
Lowe.
of bombs on our conversation. Every time we approach, it's like, oh no, they're dead. Like, it's just-
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I told you I watched all those A&E documentaries.
shout out to A&E. Like, reach out to the nostalgia test. Like,
I'm trying to say.
So,
with
all right,
British
so Brett-
Bulldog, yeah, he went heel a little bit. No. I
Oh, he
guess
did?
so.
Who was his cousin? Was
It
his
Bret
cousin
Hart.
Bret
Bret
Hart?
Hart.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
they
was
fought
gonna say,
each
I thought
other.
so, right?
They
Yeah.
fought each other.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about. I guess
Yeah.
there's no one. No, like Ultimate Warrior was good, but like Ultimate Warrior was too crazy and cracked out to be like the better of good guys. So Bret Hart wins it, passes the test
Bret
too,
Hart.
man. Like great
Yeah, I
Because
wrestler.
Bret Hart was also,
He was a great technician.
yeah, and he was
Yeah.
fighting a whole corporation,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
for
he
real.
got-
So it was,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
he
in
spit
real
on
life.
McMahon was fantastic.
Oh,
That
God.
loogie,
The Montreal screw job, yeah.
remember the freaking loogie. Oh, it was great. And
they
McMahon just like
they
stood
call
there.
it the budget.
Oh God, oh, it was so
Yep.
thick.
Yeah, he stood there being like, "This is just making me
Yeah.
richer."
Yeah.
Like all this. Is
Yep.
amazing.
That's the one time
He's
I
like,
did
"Thank
hate
you, Brett."
Shawn Michaels because like Shawn like pretended like he didn't know. Like what a douche. He was a douche for that.
Yeah.
He totally screwed him. Like, they definitely screwed
Yeah,
him on
yeah.
that
I
whole
mean,
thing.
they talk about it.
Yeah.
They made up afterwards, but like,
Yeah, but like in real life, they screwed him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was always weird with Bret Hart though, because like there was that story about like the wrestling in the basement with his dad, and I'm like, that sounds like torture. Like the whole
Well, 'cause
thing
they were
sounded
actual
like torture.
wrestling, like family, like
Yeah. Yeah, the family's like second generation. The documentary goes into that.
Did they do one on like on the model, like or like the Razor?
No,
Razor
they didn't
Ramon?
go that deep.
Razor Ramon story.
They have
was
like
great.
Warrior,
we never talk
Macho
about ridiculous
Man.
character. Razor Ramon's character is a ridiculous character.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it's pretty racist, Razor Ramon. Like, isn't his real name like Scott Hall? Like,
Yeah,
he's like not Hispanic.
I know.
Yo, but
Last
everybody
week we
loved
talked
him.
about
He had that,
that.
like,
Oh,
God,
Hey,
he had a
man.
great move. The Razor's
Razor's
Edge was a great
fantastic.
move. It's
Oh,
on
yeah.
our list.
Great
for
finishing
top
moves.
finishing moves.
Oh yeah, we still didn't do that.
Yeah.
one.
And the sharpshooter was a great move just for Bret Hart, like a submission
Oh,
move
yeah.
as like as a finisher. You ever
Heard do
sharpshooter
that to my
someone?
brother many times. Oh yeah. I don't think it actually hurts as bad as it looks
No.
in real
No.
life.
No, and you can get out pretty easily.
And a sleeper
Yeah.
hold, you know, that what is that? And then like, but I've done the Razor's Edge though to my brother, and that shit hurts.
Yeah, so I would say we moved right into top 3 finishing moves. So
Yeah, we
Oh.
got
So top three,
Tombstone,
yeah.
Razor's Edge, Rings of Saturn, the Stunner. I mean, Oh, People's Elbow, Perfect Plex, and whatever Jeff Hardy does.
Whatever Jeff Hardy does. The Hurricane Rana? Dude, I could do that. Hurricane Rana throws his body. Or like 369 by Rey Mysterio. That one's pretty good. But I would say those are really good finishing moves. Like, that's a good list. Rings of Saturn was just, I always wondered like how he did it. Like, it was almost impossible.
Who was that?
It was Saturn.
Oh, God.
I don't remember that.
Right.
I don't remember that shit at all.
Rings of Saturn was always mysteriously, because first of all, it was a WCW guy. And
Sting was the only WCW guy I knew.
Yeah, no.
That was
Saturn he was a pretty good wrestler. I think he was like part of like the Four Horsemen, like Benoit. Like, I mean, but Saturn, he did this Ring of Saturn was a pretty damn great finishing move. But I think I'd have to say either the Perfect Plex or the whatchamacallit, Razor's Edge. I mean, Tombstone is just a difficult move to do.
Yeah, you can't.
It's basically
fuck
a
that
pile
up.
driver. It's basically a pile driver that would break someone's neck.
So there's people that are not allowed to do it.
I'm with. Oh yeah, dude, 100%. Someone like got their neck compressed like that. I can't remember who it was,
and that's why he had to take a break.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like lift him high enough.
Oh, there's a Stone Cold documentary too. Watch that. To me, like, speaking of Stone Cold, the stunner is the move for me, man. It's just like when that shit happens, like, and then some people's reaction to it is also great. Like in the second Rock match where he like Stone Cold's the Rock and he like flips over backwards like 8 times. It's so ridiculous. But
the
like,
Rock sell on it is like
the Rock sell is a homage to Ric Flair. Because that's Ric Flair's sell.
Yeah, it's so
Ric
absurd.
Flair's sells are
it's
insane.
so absurd.
Like when he just bounces around. So like the Rock's sell on the stunner is crazy. Like he like bounces straight up.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what? How does he even do that? Like,
it's amazing.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Agreed, bro.
I'm between like the People's Elbow. Like the Tombstone, Razor's Edge, and the People's Elbow are like my favorite. Just
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, Pico. Like the People's Elbow is cool, but like as a move, like outside of all the shit around
it's
it,
like
elbow. Exactly. That's always bothered me about it. It's
he's got the rock bottom.
The rock bottom's better.
That is cooler.
I feel like the rock bottom.
It's a good move. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say Razor's Edge. I love the Razor's Edge. It's a great move, and no one's ever done anything quite like that.
I respect that call.
That's a tough move to do because you have to lift. There's not much help from your opponent. Like,
no, you lift them on your back
and like throwing him. So it's a very hard move to do if you don't have the strength for it. So like. I think a lot of other moves that are like, you know, that you get help from your opponent to do. Mm-hmm. But like Tombstone is definitely like you're holding this dude and you need to know that your knees are hitting first. If your knees don't hit first, it's over.
Yeah, a lot of the other ones, you're right. It's like the stunner. Like, you're working with the dude. You let go, and he sells it. You're doing the rock bottom. Like, he's jumping up to make it easier for you to slam him down. You know, so. You know what? It wasn't on this list that I liked, and I don't think it's a winner, but I did enjoy the pedigree, Triple H's pedigree, where like you get the head between the knees and the arm,
kind of like
slam it down.
Felt like that was like a half-assed Tombstone.
I could see that. Yeah,
it's a hard move though. There were so many components that you had to get. He always got reversed because he's like, gotta get the one arm, gotta get the other arm. Like, it was like, by the time, like, you know, it was so funny. But the Tombstone is so funny. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder how many wrestlers just farted in the Undertaker's face when he had to
be an asshole.
And you know, like, that was perfect
for
Undertaker because how tall he was. But like, dude, a lot of wrestlers are tall. So, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The other one that I think is from kind of a later. Do you guys ever see Brock Lesnar's finish, like the F something, where he literally like he takes the guy like up on his shoulders and like rotates him and then like flips him and falls down him. It's like a crazy modified suplex. Like that's pretty nuts.
crazy.
But
didn't Didn't Goldberg have one that was like where he held him up really long?
Oh,
and then
yeah,
brought him
you're right.
in, like kind of like
Yeah, he did. You're right.
That's
That
a
was
good
a
one
good
too,
one.
man. That's just because like all the strength
Outside
he
of
had.
his spear.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Goldberg.
Goldberg.
You know, he was still wrestling like 2 years ago. Like, we're like, oh, we're going to my sister-in-law's house because my nephew wants to watch like SummerSlam. And we go there. It was literally Goldberg versus God, we said his name earlier. Christian and
Edge.
Who's the other guy?
Edge.
It was Edge versus Goldberg.
Oh my
Edge
God.
is like
like 2 years
apparently
ago.
I think Goldberg is.
Jesus.
They say something. He is. A lot of people don't like wrestling with him because he does it. He like messes up on.
Yeah, he
hurts
hurts
them.
them. Yeah, because
Oh,
he's like, they said he's not a tactician.
He
He's not
doesn't
like some of
look
these
like
other
it.
guys.
He looks like
Yeah.
a lunatic.
Exactly.
I mean, like Chris Jericho, we didn't even talk about him in the last
Oh.
episode. Like Chris Jericho was a really
Great
great.
wrestler.
I mean, he was great
And great
great promo. You see, we forgot from last week. Like Chris Jericho had some amazing promos. Still
Yeah.
not as good as like I think everyone else. So still really good though.
What do you mean, Dan?
Agreed.
It could have been this week that we just talked about it. You could just be editing it in. No.
Podcast magic.
Yeah, I think Chris Jericho's promos were phenomenal. Walls of Jericho was a pretty good move too. But I kind of don't remember it. But I guess
No.
then it wouldn't pass the test because like I just don't remember it. I do remember
Yeah.
Chris Jericho being a great promo guy. So
Mhm. Yeah.
all right.
So I'm putting in Razor's Edge as my favorite, but yeah.
Manny, you put that on your top 3 also, right? Because I said Stunner and you said Razor's Edge or something
Yeah.
else, right?
Yeah, Razor's Edge is sick.
Because
man.
Razor's Edge takes it here.
Razor's Edge takes it, but
Razor.
I got the stun. I got this Cold Stone Stunner, a guy in a video I did for a beer promo last year. It was awesome.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
dude.
I gotta we gotta put that in the Instagram where I just stun and like.
Oh, you definitely
in the
should,
video,
bro.
people were like,
Yeah.
"Did you just stun the guy?" I was like, "Yes, we did a Cold Stone."
Goddamn right it
Just
did.
start stunning
right.
people. Woo! Wow, this is just getting amazing. Part 2 of the 3-part wrestling episode is now done. If you haven't heard part 1, please go back to episode 88 and listen to part 1. We're rolling right along. Next week we got part 3. It gets deeper. It gets more epic. We go into the matches. We're going into best overall wrestler. This is just the start of 2023. Everyone, thank you so much. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Hit us up. Tell us what you think. Get into it with us. Mix it up. We want to hear from you, our audience. Thank you so much for listening. Follow the Nostalgia Test podcast and see you next week for part 3.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to the Nostalgia Test podcast to know when new episodes drop. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a positive review so more people can find the podcast. Share your thoughts and memories on today's topic on our Twitter @NostalgiaTest and on Instagram @The Nostalgia Test. Tune in next time because you never know what pop culture will pop up on The Nostalgia Test.